Hello everyone, and welcome to Throwing in the Towel, the weekly series where I take a hard look at the NFL's losers and decide which team's season is officially cooked. I'll go division by division, crown an AFC rep, an NFC rep, and finally pick the one team to throw in the towel on this week. And we start, per usual, in the AFC East, which has no representative this week. The Bills were on a bye, the Patriots got a win, and the Dolphins and Jets, well, they're still the Dolphins and the Jets. Over in the AFC North, we have a change in this division for once. Instead of being every team but the Steelers, it's now only the Steelers being a rep. Granted, the Ravens did get a bye, so there is that to consider. For the Steelers, their upside is limited due to poor roster construction. The Steelers walk away from their latest outing still leading the AFC North. Everything they want to achieve is still in front of them. However, Pittsburgh will fail to do so if it doesn't get better in key areas. Defensively, the problems are even bigger, with the group not being close to what Steelers fans are used to seeing from a Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Over in the South, we have the Jaguars and the Texans. The Texans are a mediocre team at best. CJ Stroud is doing everything he can, but he has a limited supporting cast. Nico Collins is injured. Just got injured in that game against the Seahawks, and also he doesn't have an offensive line that can't really block, so there's not really much he can do there. And really, there's nothing else to be said at this point about this team. Really, the only thing that's keeping Houston, a team that was once considered a favorite in the AFC South, out of the basement of the AFC South, is that they are in the same division as the Titans. And for the Jaguars, this team is too undisciplined to be a top-tier team. If the Jags want to be a serious playoff contender, they have to tighten up in their execution in all three phases of the game. That includes penalties. The Jags can be their own worst enemy on the field, i.e. the penalties, and that issue must be addressed during their Week 8 bye. So they certainly have some things to work on going into the bye, and hopefully it looks a little bit better coming out of the bye. Over in the West, we have the Chargers and the Raiders. And the Chargers, well, they tried out a new uniform, and I'll be honest, it's not the greatest looking thing in the world, and they certainly didn't get a win in the debut of it. So maybe put that one on the shelf and just leave it there. But the other thing about the Chargers is that they have lost their physical identity. Rarely do you see an opponent out-muscle head coach Jim Harbaugh, but that's exactly what the Colts did. Harbaugh usually relies on a highly physical team approach on a game day, but the Chargers aren't physical on offense or defense. They don't really even have a running game either, too. Their top two running backs both went down, Najee Harris for the season and Ontario Hamilton for the time being. So Justin Herbert is doing everything he can, and it's quite sad when your quarterback throws for 400 yards and you can't win the game. And for the Raiders, it might be time to start trading some of the old vets on the roster and starting more of the rookies. The Raiders have a lot of work to do before they can enter the playoff discussion, which I don't think is going to be this season, and it should start with a youth movement this season. Pete Carroll and his staff must realize that the club needs to focus on the future, which means allowing younger players to learn on the job, make mistakes, and improve for the betterment of this team's long-term outlook. So now we move over to the AFC division representatives, which has the Steelers in the North, the Texans in the South, and the Raiders in the West. Of these three teams, who will be representing the AFC this week? It's not the Steelers, it's actually the Las Vegas Raiders. That one was probably a bit of a giveaway right there. A team that scored 0 points in their game against the Chiefs. So that one was over quite quickly. Moving on to the NFC side of things, we start, per usual, in the NFC East, which has two representatives in the Commanders and the Giants. And for the Commanders, star player injuries could derail the season. With a loss to the Cowboys, the Commanders dropped to 3-4. The fan base will hold a collective breath while waiting word on Jaden Daniels' latest injury, this one to his hamstring. Now, Jaden Daniels is capable of winning games without his top playmakers, i.e. Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel. However, if he's on the sidelines, well, the Commanders, even with Marcus Mariota under center, will struggle to keep pace in a competitive division and a competitive NFC playoff field. And for the Giants, the front office is certainly going to be feeling the heat from that meltdown in Denver. The Week 4 pivot to Jackson Dart bought the front office some time and also made the Giants look like a fun football team, even picking up a win over the Eagles. but it was never guaranteed to save the jobs of head coach Brian Daboll and Joe Shane permanently. The collapse on Sunday is the sort of game that will throw the front office right back onto the hot seat, and probably the head coach as well. And because that sort of collapse is not going to sit well with ownership. And I feel bad for Jackson Dart. I mean, he threw a pick at the end of the game, but man, he certainly came to play, and the Broncos didn't until the fourth quarter. So what a way to lose. Over the North, lone representative in the Vikings, and red zone woo issues were what doomed this team against the Eagles. Minnesota is far too talented at the skill positions to perform so poorly near the goal line, but yet that's what they did. Carson Wentz and company must be more efficient when operating in tight spaces, especially when you're down 6 in the fourth quarter. The opportunity there to come back was there, and they just weren't able to do it. Wentz threw no touchdowns, but he did throw a couple interceptions. So I guess the Vikings will be rolling out Carson Wentz on Thursday Night Football. So one more week of Carson Wentz, and I have a feeling that if he doesn't impress in this game or doesn't play better against the Chargers, it's probably back to the bench and back to J.J. McCarthy. Over in the South, we have the Falcons and the Buccaneers. The Falcons, let's just say this: Atlanta presently is not one of the top contenders in the NFC. It was easy to believe that after the win over the Bills, but the 49ers brought them crashing back to earth, showing that they are a tier below the NFC's top contenders. Offensively, the Falcons have talent but are balanced enough to truly thrive when Bijan Robinson is held in check. Defensively, they are much better than a year ago, but they don't have the sort of elite unit that can completely take over a game. And for the Buccaneers, this team could use a bye in the worst way, as they need to get healthy at wide receiver. They got Mike Evans back in week 7, but unfortunately he went down with an injury and is now out for pretty much the rest of the season. There's a chance he comes back in the playoffs, but as of right now, the Buccaneers are without Mike Evans. Maka Mbuka gave it a go, but he's not 100%. Chris Godwin is still on the sidelines with an injury, leaving Baker Mayfield with the likes of Sterling Shepard and Tez Johnson at wide receiver. And credit to those guys, they're doing their best, but there's only so much Baker can do with that kind of supporting cast. And in the West, we have a lone representative in the Cardinals, and the quarterback questions aren't going to disappear for his team going into the bye, because for the second straight week, the Cardinals, yes, lost a close game, but were more competitive and in a better position to win with Jacoby Brissett under center. The passing game looked far more efficient and consistent with Brissett at quarterback than it has with Kyler Murray at quarterback. Although Jonathan Gannon has said that Kyler Murray will start, if he comes out and plays terrible against the Cowboys, I think they play, the quarterback questions are going to get loud. So now we move over to the NFC division representatives, which we have 4 this week. So hey, we have a 4 slate. We got the Giants in the East, the Vikings in the North, the Falcons in the South, and the Cardinals in the West. Of these 4 teams, who did I pick to be the NFC representative this week? It's the Arizona Cardinals. So keep that in mind for this week. In the AFC, it's the Raiders, and the NFC, it's the Cardinals. Now we move over to the recap section. The Panthers got another win. They are now over 500 at 4-3. Bryce Young did go down with a high ankle sprain, so he's going to miss some time there. We'll see what Andy Dalton can do as quarterback of the offense. I still stand by my sentiment that the Panthers are not going to make the playoffs this season. And the Saints, well, I guess it was bound to happen at some point. Spencer Rattler played a bad game, and he did just that. The Titans, interim head coach, didn't really change much. They're still a terrible team. The Jets still don't have a win. The Dolphins, well, they just kind of imploded against the Browns. And the Browns, hey, they got a win, albeit in bad weather against a bad football team. But hey, a win's a win. Still doesn't change my opinion about the Browns. They're not a playoff team this season. So with that, we will move into the... and so with that, as you recall, our throwing in the towel Super Bowl matchup this week is the Raiders in the AFC versus the Cardinals in the NFC. So wrapping up week 7, who is this week's team? Well, the towel this week lands right in the desert for the Raiders. Another season, same dysfunction. Vegas might have the lights but there's no spark left in this team. The towel has been thrown in. The Raiders season is over. I'd imagine, because they have a new head coach, new GM, and new quarterback. I mean, they have all new at all 3 positions, but I'd imagine Geno Smith is going to be on his way out. And that will do it for this week's edition of Throwing in the Towel. Tune in next week for the Week 8 edition.